This Memorial Day weekend, approximately 2,000 Barbadians, persons of Barbadian descent, and friends of Barbados will converge on Atlanta, Georgia from all corners of the USA. The outreach program, hosted by the Barbados Consulate in Miami in association with the Carrie Lynn Brissett Cancer Foundation, runs from Friday, May 26th to Monday, May 29th. Consul General Rudy Grant leads the Barbados delegation.
So Barbados Comes to Atlanta would have been, or Barbados Comes to better said, would have been impacted by COVID-19 as many other things have been. This provides an opportunity for the diaspora to come together to speak to things Barbadian and to also expose the location where the activity is being held to things Barbadian, Barbadian culture, Barbadian cuisine, trade, and to identify business opportunities as well. The Barbados Comes to events are the responsibility of the Miami Consulate. And what happens is that when these events take place, they take place in different areas within the 11 states of the Miami Consulate. So this year we made the determination that we would come back to Atlanta. The event has been in Atlanta before, but we felt it was important to come here to Atlanta. Of course, coming out of COVID, there would have been a number of challenges that the country would have had to confront. We would have had issues, for example, with respect to our tourism industry, where we would have seen for a period of time where there was very limited, and in fact, at some stage, we didn't have any persons really coming because aircraft had stopped flying and all that. Atlanta is a very important area for business. This is where you have Delta, for example. You have in excess of 150 different flights leaving from here to go to both local and international destinations. So this is critical and this is important. It's also an area where there are a number of business opportunities. So we do have entities from Barbados that are participating with us in the area of international business, in the area of manufacturing, with respect to different specialty niche products as well. So we felt it was important this year to have Barbados Comes to again, have it here in Atlanta to help to stimulate an interest in Barbados as a tourism destination, help to stimulate interest with respect to the business and trade opportunities, and help to expose this area to Barbadian culture and the Barbadian way of life, and to encourage more persons to come to Barbados and have Barbados top of mind.
It's a privilege to be here.
Barbados' ambassador to the United States and the Organization of American States, Noah Lynch, emphasized that moving the island forward would require the collaboration of Barbadians both at home and abroad.
We're here this weekend for this particular event because this is really about the diaspora, primarily. Now, it doesn't mean that there are not other people that are going to come around, but ultimately, as the Prime Minister continues to say, Barbados cannot develop to its full potential unless we include Barbadians that live in the exterior. The people that live on the 166 square miles that we have are just not enough in terms of the human resource that we need to be able to move Barbados to the developed level that we all envision. And therefore, every opportunity that we get to enlist Barbadians in this movement towards full development for our country, we're always interested in being a part of. We've developed a database of Barbadians living in the U.S. The first and second generation Barbadians amount to just maybe over 5,000 that we have on a database. There are many more of them that live here. And we believe that when the legislation is passed, that third generation Barbadians can actually acquire citizenship. It means that we're going to have a lot more of them on the road. But we look for every opportunity to have Barbadians do a lot for the areas of our development that we think are important and that have been traditionally important. So whether it's health, in the health area, in the education area, whether it's just sending assets home, whether it's remittances, we encourage Barbadians to continue to develop Barbados and continue to be part of that generation that is going to see us become a developed society. Every opportunity that Barbadians get to go home we encourage them also to go home. Because our tourism industry, which is still our number one economic earning sector, is not just about people who live in the exterior who are non-Barbadians. Barbadians must feel that they're welcomed in Barbados, that they can go home and be tourists and be treated like how we treat the tourists when they come from Europe or from North America. So those are the areas in which we are trying to do things. There's a lot of other areas too in which we're looking for scholarships, for example. We have a scholarships program that is being run here now in where we are in Washington, in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. There are over 70 universities that we have reached out to be able to give them scholarships for Barbadian students. Now it means that if you can get a scholarship to come to study in the US for a two-year program or a 4-year program, even a graduate program, it really makes a difference. Not everyone may be able to go to the university in Barbados. And therefore imagine that if we are able to get a scholarship for 100 students to study maybe every couple of years outside in the United States in some of the better universities, imagine what that means for tertiary education and for the development of Barbados in the future.
Also in Atlanta for the weekend is veteran calypsonian and founder of the Red Foundation, Stetson Rpb Wheelchair. He expressed gratitude to Barbadians living in the diaspora for their continued support in assisting the island.
I've been around the diaspora for all my adult life performing. I built quite a relationship with all the organizations in the diaspora. I perform for most of them. So I think they understand where my heart is and the things that I want to do, and they're being very supportive. And as Henderson mentioned, the bike program, which really is the program that is the bedrock of what we do, that is supported out of Orlando, and that came too because of my relationship and Henry's relationship with the diaspora, because he himself, he was the president of an organization here before. He has been around, he has lived here, so he was able to help us to connect at strong levels with the diaspora as well. Contrary to what people may believe, the people who live in the diaspora, they love Barbados with all their heart. They're only living here, but their hearts are back home, and they want to contribute. And the Red Foundation itself functions somewhat like a conduit for all that support that we need to get back in Barbados for those people who are most vulnerable. Of course, you know, COVID has widened the pool of dependency, and there's so many people who need help. The government cannot do everything. And this is why I want to encourage organizations like ours to continue to contribute, simply because of the fact that government just cannot do everything.
Barbados Comes 2 began in Amelia Island, Florida in 2009. It was also held in Charleston, South Carolina in 2011, West Palm Beach, Florida in 2013, Atlanta, Georgia in 2016 to coincide with the celebration of the 50th anniversary of independence, and Tampa, Florida in 2017.